Vera. No que se refere à política social, a gente sabe que existem diversas possibilidades para tentar atingir um objetivo. E no seu livro, você destaca muito bem uma série de programas ao redor do mundo com propósitos semelhantes, mas muitas vezes os desenhos vão ser diferentes, né, e os resultados distintos também. Então, nesse contexto, dado a sua grande experiência na área de políticas sociais, quais seriam as melhores práticas para governos em países pobres em desenvolvimento formularem políticas que, de fato, impactam positivamente a sociedade?
So I think one of the things that would help enormously is focusing policies around improving the well-being of the population. What do I mean by that? Increasingly, if you look around the world at what makes people happy, the things that count for people are very similar. The most important thing is good health, both physical and mental. The second is good relationships. And the third is meaningful work. Higher income comes very low, much lower in the ranking of what determines whether people think they have a good life. And if government policy could increasingly focus on improving the well-being of the population, I think you would get a much better allocation of resources. An interesting piece of research we did at the London School of Economics looked at what determines whether politicians get re-elected. Most politicians think that it's whether GDP goes up during my tenure. And so if people's incomes rise, I'll get reelected. We looked at data for hundreds of elections around the world. And what we found actually was that was not the case. What determined whether politicians get reelected is whether people's well-being improved during their tenure. And so I always make sure to say this, especially countries that have elections coming up, is to remind politicians that when people vote, they vote their well-being, not their pocketbook. And so focusing on well-being, I think, would be very, very powerful to change the dynamics of both politics and economic and social policy.